Okay, I have the best named program. It actually is hashtag Make CAPA Cool. But for those of you who are not a member of our pilot, I would just sort of encourage you now, before I even start, to ask yourself why not join. So even those of you that are on the phone, we are looking for additional pilot sites, and I don't know why you wouldn't join after you hear what I'm going to say today. So. This, for those of you who aren't aware of it, I'm going to go through the first slides because I've presented out at other forums before, the first set of slides really quickly, and then I'm going to dig into where we are in the pilot. So it really did come across because we've got all these people that love to solve problems, but they really never wanted a CAPA. And so the goal was to get together as an industry and to leverage sort of that cross collaboration to basically recast it as a continuous improvement framework. So you'll notice all the different participants that we have. We have FDA, we have MBIC, we have 14 industry members, we have some consulting firms. And the coolest part about this team is we've been now going for more than a year. They're very engaged, and now we're a well-oiled machine. If you guys have been on conference calls where you know people by voice, we now know if there's a new person that has snuck in because we don't recognize their voice. So it's been a really exciting team to work on, very dynamic. So by way of introduction, at a high level, what's changing for CAPA? We're going from a compliance requirement, one size fits all, more of a punishment type deal, documentation focus. We're trying to move it towards solving problems to improve quality, a risk-based fit for purpose, a privilege, and impact focus. So that's what we're looking for. I'm not giving you the detailed flow on purpose because when I do that, people typically come up with tons of questions. And so you're going to get the high level flow. The detailed ones is at the end if you are interested in within the slide deck, those of you who are detail focused. It really is split between two different flows. The first one is external events and high risk trends that are potentially patient or user impacting go towards the more traditional CAPA process that we have. And we have dubbed it the external CAPA. So it's a CAPA. Internal events and low-risk trends can be now handled through a fast-track CAPA approach. It is still a CAPA. It still has to meet the requirements of CAPA. But what we get to do is a reduced root cause analysis, documentation, and a simplified effectiveness check. So that's the specific difference between that one. So some of the benefits of the risk-based approach is the goal of our team is we'd have more issues addressed faster, less burden and cost. The idea is we would engage employees from all levels of the organization in problem solving versus just those that are really good at the compliance documentation. And the idea that we have an MDIC white paper that was released, and I'm proud Alan told us we're like downloaded the most number of times off their website now. We've got the record. I know, I was proud. And based on that, there's a regulatory section that actually walks you through why this framework that we're proposing is within the regulations today, so it's compliant. And the goal we have is safer, better products faster. So the team has spent this past year to try to identify a framework that would be effective. This slide is really just in here to show you some of those reasons we believe that you guys can be confident in piloting this. It was co-developed with industry SMEs, FDA, and MBIC. It's been previewed with ISO and NBSAP. The concepts are proven successful in other industries. We've tested it in retrospective reviews. We have ready to deploy pilot materials. I have a slide on that. We've clearly defined and actively monitored success criteria, and it's safer to try under the case for quality umbrella. So any questions before I dig into the pilot strategy that all those who have not joined our pilot I know are very interested in hearing about this? Okay. So this is a really fast-moving program, and so things on this slide have actually changed since I sent them to Alan. The goal initially was to get 10 Case for Quality VIP sites and then reconvene as a team in September or August of this year and determine, do we have enough data or do we need to expand to non-VIP sites? But I have just found out, since this is an MBIC pilot, we can actually have anyone join. You don't necessarily have to be a VIP site. So if, for those of you who have not particularly joined a VIP site, but you'd like to join the CAPA pilot, we welcome you. So the pilot site requirements are no OAIs, in good standing with the regulatory bodies, and you no longer have to be a Case for Quality VIP participant. So each pilot site will follow a well-defined pilot playbook to ensure consistency. It'll walk you through enrollment, pre-work and pilot activation, a 3-month progress check, and then just active pilot work. Pilot is designed to ensure real-time feedback and lessons learned are built back into the framework. So we're trying to learn as quickly as possible, be able to adjust so that we don't find out 3 months down the road that there were some issues. So to kick off our pilot, we had a pilot launch. Since the last time I presented to you, we had a pilot launch at the McKinsey office for 2 days. And the goal was to onboard new pilot sites quickly, give them the standardized pilot process, give them a chance to work through what the change management would be at their organization, because we know that it's going to look and feel different than what they typically have seen the CAPA process as. And we gave them time to sort of work through their change management strategy. So it was a ton of fun, because we actually had pilot site leaders from the sites that were going to execute it that got to participate with us. So, and if you did not join, I will give you your own virtual version, because we obviously can't get together very often anymore. But I will give your sites a virtual version of this, so they'll be prepared. So this is just to show you, this slide is just to show you that quite a bit of work has been done since last November when we presented before to create some standardized pilot processes that sites can use to be consistent in their application of the framework. We've got the white paper, a training overview slide deck, a very detailed playbook, some procedural examples. We have a data collection sites and surveys, which are managed by McKinsey right here to maintain data anonymity. Yep. In other words, your data is safe. Okay. And we have an audit memo. So that's to be able to, when you get an auditor that comes into your site, we have an official memo that you can give to them that actually has a hotline directly to Bleda and Mark Henry, your team members. Their emails are on it. So it's an auditor hotline. Should you see any issues, call us. I'm not going to dig into this in detail, but for those of you who are interested in the regulatory strategy that we're coming up with, we also have a very active regulatory sub-team that develops a strategy looking at both reactive and proactive actions to address potential regulatory concerns. So we've been getting with our stakeholders, addressing issues, and developing a standardized process for how we're going to roll this out. The one thing that we have left, in addition to reaching out to the regulatory bodies, is to create some online auditor training. We're in the process of doing that. So we were thinking virtual, okay, ahead of time. We were ahead of COVID-19. So we have 7 sites from 4 organizations that have decided to join the pilot. If you remember our first phase, we wanted to have 10 sites. 2 sites have begun the pilot, and 5 sites are working through the updates to their internal procedures right now. So we need you to pilot. So, and again, you don't have to be a Case for Quality VIP site yet. But this one, I'm going to ask Rob to sort of give us, if he's got some encouragement to people who might want to join. Edwards has pretty much been paving the way, blazing the trail for the CAPA process.
So first of all, I would like to thank Catherine. I think that she's done a tremendous job taking this on and being very organized and thinking through a lot of the structure and the kinds of things you need to do to have a successful pilot, and also think through some of the bigger questions. And it's also, to me, a great example of what a collaborative environment can do. First off, what I would like to say is, internally, we've thought about a risk-based approach to CAPA many times. We've had a lot of proposals, and it's always stalled with our compliance folks being not willing to take that next step to actually do it, because the idea was we can't put ourselves in a position where that gets questioned later. So the fact that this is available now and has the right collaborative input was enough for our management to say, yes, now we feel comfortable that this is something we can do, which is incredibly valuable, and I definitely appreciate that. So we rolled out, we are 1 month in, and we've taken a look at, kind of our CAPA program as is and our CAPA program under the pilot. And essentially, we feel like we're going to save and free up about 5 full-time headcount. That essentially we're going to be able to transition from, maintaining all the documentation and doing all the work to make a compliant CAPA file to being able to focus on other things that align more with continuous improvement, quality. And so we see a direct shift of resources from a compliance-based activity to continuous improvement, employee suggestions, value-added engineering projects, and all the things that really align with the focus of the case for quality. And this is a vehicle that's giving us a tremendous amount of resources to be able to shift towards those kind of things. And so we are incredibly encouraged and have had significantly positive results, and would love to have other companies participate and share that same success.
Thanks, Rob. Thank you also for you guys taking the courage to go after it first. Yeah. So his team members have been very active, and they have provided us a tremendous amount of feedback on the framework as we had it. And we've also, only 1 month in, their input and their learnings have enabled us to clarify the intent of the framework as we walk through it. So we've had some really detailed discussions as a team, and they have been instrumental in us being able to make it a stronger framework already. So I'm expecting by the time we hit our September or August timeframe, we'll have quite a bit of data that we can use. So if you are interested in joining, I don't know why you wouldn't be at this point in time. There's a couple of things that you'd have to know. First, you need to have a Make CAPA Cool sponsor, so you'd be sitting on our team. Sometimes you have a leadership role on that team, and then you might have multiple sites that are in the pilot. They would each have a pilot site leader. So you need a sponsor that would link in with the Make CAPA Cool team that we'd escalate up. We meet on a bi-monthly basis, and then you'd have your pilot site leader. The site then needs to update its internal procedures. We'll also have data collection. So you'll have baseline data collection on your CAPA process, and then you'll have a quarterly survey that you have. We also have an audit survey. So remember the audit memo I told you about that you can hand to an auditor when they walk into your site? We actually we have a survey link for them to actually get their feedback after they've audited the CAPA process as is. So we're trying to get as much data as we can. So be one of the first ones to take advantage of the benefits and help shape the future of CAPA, because this is where it's headed. So if you are interested in joining, you can contact your Make CAPA Cool team representative if you have one. If not, just contact me. And all it takes to enroll is to send me an email with your desire to pilot the process and how you meet the minimum requirements. So, and then you can schedule a pilot training session with me. So I'll take whatever time is needed for your sites to feel comfortable. Okay, any questions? No, because I didn't stick the detailed flow up. Okay.